Two people, same salary, same fund, same return rate. One starts at 25, one starts at 35. By retirement, the one who started at 25 has nearly 3 times as much money. Not because they invested more, because they invested earlier. The maths behind that gap is what this episode is about. That is not a motivational poster, that is a compound interest calculation. The inputs are publicly available, the maths is secondary school level. What is not publicly discussed is why most people still do not start at 25, or at 35, or at all. This episode has the numbers, and one answer. A man walks into a bank, he asks to speak to someone about compound interest. They send him to the savings department. He is shown a 1.6% annual rate on an instant access account. He leaves, opens a Vanguard ISA on his phone in the car park, and does not return. The bank loses a customer. The customer does not lose any money. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions. If you have been following this series, in episode 6 we covered the foundation, why wealthy people set up automated systems first, before investing a penny. Today is the numbers behind why that timing matters more than the amount. If you are new, this episode is self-contained. The maths is self-contained. If you find this useful, we do not ask you to subscribe because we want the numbers. We ask because the algorithm needs it to show this to people who would find it useful. If this episode is worth your time, the button is below. Using the MSCI World Index 40-year average annual return of 8.7%. Source: MSCI 2024. 100 pounds a month invested from age 25 to 65 produces approximately $336,000 at retirement. The same 100 a month started at age 35. 10 years later produces approximately $163,000. The person who started at 25 pounds invested a total of 48,000 pounds over their lifetime. The person who started at 35 pounds invested 36 pounds more. They received 200,000 pounds more. That gap is not the investment. That gap is the decade. The 215-pound figure, to produce the same $363,000 as someone who started at 25 with 100 pounds a month. A person starting at 35 needs to invest 215 pounds a month. Source: compound calculation using MSCI World 8.7% average, 2024. Not 1,000 pounds. Not a dramatic career change. 215 pounds a month versus 100 pounds a month. That is the cost of 10 years. Right, so I want to make sure I understand this. If I invest 100 pounds a month from right now, age 28, until I am 65, that is 37 years. At the MSCI World 8.7% average, that is approximately 296,000 pounds. If I had started at 25, 3 years ago, it would have been 363,000 pounds. Those 3 years cost me 67,000 pounds. 3 years, 67,000 pounds. That is why the instruction does not change, not because it is motivating, because the maths leaves no room for debate. You cannot catch up with a higher monthly amount fast enough to compensate for lost compounding time. You can reduce the gap. You cannot close it. The system that runs automatically at 25 does not require discipline at 35. It just runs. The FCA Financial Lives Survey 2022 asked UK adults who were not investing why they had not started. Source: Financial Conduct Authority 2022. The most common answer was not, "I cannot afford it." The most common answer was, "I am waiting until I have more to invest." 71% of non-investors said they plan to start investing in the future. Source: FCA Financial Lives Survey 2200. The survey has been asking a version of this question since 2017. The 71% figure has not changed. They are still planning. In my experience, and this is 31 years of observation, not a published data set, the investors who said they would invest more when they earned more did not invest more when they earned more. Their expenses scaled with their income. Their savings rate did not. The ones who automated a fixed amount at the start of their career and left it, those investors had the most consistent outcomes. Not the highest monthly contributions, the most consistent. Kai, right, but surely if you invest a much larger amount later, you can catch up? Like, if I invested 1,000 pounds a month from 35 instead of 100 pounds a month from 25? Nadia, at MSCI World 8.7%, $1,000 a month from 35 to 65 produces approximately $1,632,000. Source: MSCI World Average 2024. 100 pounds a month from 25 to 65 produces 363,000 pounds. In that specific comparison, the 1,000 pounds a month investor wins on total wealth, but that comparison requires investing 10 times as much per month for 30 years. The FCA survey shows 71% of non-investors are waiting to invest more. Source: FCA 2022. Not 10 times more, they are waiting to start at all. The real comparison is not 100 pounds versus 1,000 pounds. It is 100 pounds automated at 25 versus 0. Then an intention to invest more that rarely becomes a consistent habit. That comparison, the person who started at 25 pounds with 100 pounds wins. In most scenarios. Narrator: Marcus, 31 years in institutional finance. Marcus: I am not in a position to share specific client data. What I can tell you is what I observed over 30 years in institutional investment management. The investors who caught up, who started late and matched their peers who started early, were rare. Not rare because the maths was impossible. Rare because maintaining a higher monthly contribution for 20 years requires a consistency of income and intention that most people do not have. The ones who automated early were not smarter. They had removed the decision from the equation. The system ran whether they thought about it or not. The decision to automate early is the one financial decision that removes the need for future discipline. Narrator: Maya built her first million through 9 years of index investing. Maya, the instruction is one sentence. Set up a direct debit to a global index fund for an amount you will not miss. Then leave it. The amount is not the variable. The date you start is the variable. 50 pounds a month from age 25 at MSCI World Historical Rate. Source: MSCI 2024 grows to approximately 110,000 pounds. By 65, 50 a month from age 35 grows to approximately 82,000. The fund does not care about your salary, it cares about how long you give it. Do it once, make it automatic, then leave it to run. Right, quick one, 30 seconds, stay with us, because this is the part most people miss. The ONS Wealth and Assets Survey 2022 tracked actual pension savings by age cohort in the UK. Source: Office for National Statistics, 2022. Median pension wealth for UK adults aged 55 to 64. For UK adults aged 35 to 44, 58,000. That is not a gap between rich and poor. That is a gap between people who started in their 20s and people who started in their 30s. The compound interest calculation running in the background for 40 years is the same one in this episode. Right, back into it. Lightning round, 5 facts, 90 seconds. Fact 1. 1 pound invested at age 25 in the MSCI World Index would have grown to approximately 21 pounds by age 65, based on the 40-year average annual return of 8.7%. Source: MSCI World Net Return Index 2024. The same one invested at age 35 would have grown to approximately 9 pounds. Same fund, same return rate. Different starting date. Fact 2. The break-even age is approximately 51. A person who starts investing 100 pounds a month at 25 overtakes a person who starts investing 300 pounds a month at 35, by around age 51 at an 8.7% annual return. Source: Compound calculation using MSCI World 2024 average. After that point, the early investor stays ahead for the rest of their life. Fact 3. The longest-running compound interest study tracking individual investor outcomes over 40 years is the Dalbar Quantitative Analysis of Investor Behavior, published annually since 1994. Source: Dalbar, 2024. The primary finding across 30 years of data is not that investors chose wrong funds. It is that investors exited and re-entered those funds at the wrong times. The investors who automated and held consistently, regardless of start date, outperformed the investors who timed their contributions. Source: Dalbar, 2024. Fact 4. The Vanguard Investor Behavior Study 2023 tracked self-directed ISA investors in the UK over a 5-year period. Source: Vanguard 2023. Investors who set up automated monthly contributions and made no manual changes outperformed investors who actively managed their contributions by an average of 1.4 percentage points annually. The active managers were not making worse decisions on the market. They were making worse decisions on when to contribute. Fact 5. The ONS Wealth and Assets Survey 2022 found that UK adults aged 25 to 34 have median total net wealth of £76,000. Source: ONS 2022. Pension wealth accounts for less than 30% of that figure. The majority is in property equity, which requires a deposit, or physical assets, which do not compound. The investment category that compounds automatically requires no deposit and is accessible from any salary, stocks and shares ISA, accounts for less than 8% of net wealth in that age cohort. Source: ONS 2022. The 1% detail for this episode. The MSCI World Index has returned positive gains in 34 of the last 40 years. Source: MSCI World Net Return Index 2024. The 6 years it did not, including 2008 and 2020, were followed by recoveries that in each case produced above-average returns in the subsequent 24-month period. A monthly direct debit that ran continuously through all 6 of those negative years, buying units at the lowest prices, recovered its losses and returned to growth in each instance. The months that felt like the worst time to invest were, mathematically, the best. What they never tell you: the break-even calculation, the age at which a later investor catches up to an earlier investor, has been available from any basic compound interest calculator for 50 years. The FCA Financial Lives Survey 2010 found that only 12% of UK adults aged 25 to 34 could correctly estimate the growth of a monthly investment over 20 years. Source: Financial Conduct Authority 2010. The calculation was not hidden, it was not taught. Episode 6 covered why wealthy people build the system before they invest. Today's episode showed what happens inside that system when time is the input. The numbers only work if the system runs. The system only runs if you set it up. Episode 8 on Wednesday covers the one obstacle that stops most people from setting it up at all: debt. If this is the first episode where the maths clicked, the panel episode covers this in detail with 4 people who disagree about whether starting late can be rescued. Link in the description. The version of you who started this month will be ahead of the version who waited. That is not motivation, that is the compound interest calculation. Subscribe. New episodes every week. Next episode: £19,000 of debt cleared in 14 months. Not a windfall, not a second job. One method applied in the right order. Subscribe. New episodes every week. Next episode is up there. Subscribe is over there. Both are better than whatever you were about to do instead. I know this because I have watched the next episode. I understand all of it, I have done approximately none of it yet. That is what the subscribe button is for.